Let's take a look at the CRKT Edgie. I've had this knife in my collection for well over 2 years, and I think it was one of the first dedicated folding pocket knives that I got. What I mean by that is it's actually solely just a pocket knife. It's not like a multi-tool. Like, obviously I've had Swiss Army knives before, I've had dedicated knives, that's all I mean. Anyway, to start off, this is a UK legal carry folding pocket knife, which means, well, the blade is less than 3 inches and it does not lock, so it's a slip joint. It is a one-handed opening knife, although I think that thumb hole is pretty uncomfortable to use. It is a sheep's foot blade, and the grind, I've actually just noticed 5 minutes before making this video, it's actually got 2 grinds to it, but I'll get to that later. Now, this is definitely one of the cheapest dedicated folding pocket knives out there. I think I paid about somewhere between £12 and £15. But it's a CRKT, so at least it's actually got a name to it. It's not like it's a no-name Chinese knife. I mean, it's still made in China, but at least it's got a brand name. I mean, CRKT, Columbia River Knife and Tool. Every knife guy knows who CRKT are. It's an okay knife for the price, and it's got quite a lot of features to it, shall we say. But let's just have a look at some specs about this knife. So we do have plastic handles, some really cheap plastic handles that are not that well made. You know, they're obviously molded. It's not nothing fancy like G10 or anything. It's just plastic. It is a slip joint, as I said, and it does not. Well, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's got a half stop. You know how some knives stop at a sort of 45-degree angle like that? Not the case with this, so it doesn't have that safety feature, although it doesn't quite snap as soon as you fold it. We do have torque screws, so that's a good thing, so you can disassemble a knife if you choose to. A sheep's foot, like I said, and it does have a pocket clip, which is only on, which can only stay fitted to this one side of the knife. It's tip down only, right-handed carry only. And it is, as I said, made in China. I don't think it says the blade steel anywhere. Self-sharpening. Now that's an interesting thing about this knife. It's got a sort of a diamond stone, if you will, in there, which is sprung. So when you close the knife, the idea is that it's supposed to keep the blade sharp. And to me, that's a bit of a gimmick. It kind of works, but it's obviously not going to keep it like really sharp. I mean, it'll keep it kind of sharpish. But if your knife is completely dull, you're obviously going to have to take it to a stone, a proper dedicated sharpening stone or sharpening system. Unfortunately, there is no lanyard hole with this, which is a disappointment. Mind you, it's a really cheap knife, so what can you expect? Now let's talk a bit about the blade grind. So, it's chisel ground, as in it's ground like a woodworking chisel. But I actually just noticed something else. By the way, by chisel ground, like I said, ground like a chisel, which means it's only got the edge on one side. I've actually just noticed just 10 minutes ago it's also hollow ground. If we switch to the other side, you can see it's also hollow ground. Hollow ground being like a, those old style straight razors, cutthroat razors, what you want to call them. So it's got 2 grinds to it, and that's the same on the chisel ground edge as well. This portion here is hollow ground, and the actual cutting edge is chisel ground. That's very strange. That's a really strange way of doing it. This is the only knife that I could think of that has a chisel ground and hollow ground. That is a very strange and funny thing to do. I'm personally not a fan of chisel grinds, although I'd imagine they'd be one of the easiest grinds to sharpen other than Scandi. Not that I've ever sharpened a chisel ground knife, because I don't carry them. I don't think they're that practical. That said, I've sharpened plenty of chisels to know that it's easy to sharpen a chisel ground. So, and I would imagine this would be just sharpening this would be just like sharpening a woodworking plane. sharpening the iron on a woodworking plane. I've done that plenty of times as well, so I could tell you that that's not difficult. I would imagine it would just be the exact same, although you wouldn't want to take the back edge to the stone because it's hollow. So you would just want to sharpen the chisel grind, strop it, and then only strop the hollow ground side. You wouldn't want to take this side to a whetstone, oil stone, or even on a sharpening system. So obviously this is a budget knife, and it's an okay option. If that's all you can afford, fair enough, go for it. It'll do the job. Now I think these, like I did say, I paid somewhere between £12 and £15. I think the normal price for these is about £30, but even £30, this is an okay knife. It's okay. It's nothing too exciting. It's okay. It's okay for £30. For £15, go for it, definitely. Now, one thing about the spring action on this, it's pretty loose. It's fairly easy to close this, so that's another reason why I don't carry this. Now, I'm usually not worried about, using non-locking knives. Now, of course, I can only legally carry a slip joint. It's illegal for me to carry a lock knife. But usually I'm okay with I don't worry that it's going to fold on me. This one I'm not so sure because it is pretty loose. So that might be a bit of a concern. Whoops. But other than that, I'd say it's a good knife for around £15. So that pretty much concludes my video, and thank you for watching.